Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing details. Today we are discussing the lovely rose gold Parmigiani Fleurier Tonda Quator annual calendar moonphase, a lovely watch with a fascinating and distinctive Parmigiani form that is 40 millimeters in diameter, 11.3 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip, a delightfully compact 45.5 millimeters, and has an unconventional, broad, and very modern 25 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Throw it on the wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference, very comfortable. You can see how it hugs the wrist with those distinctive Parmigiani tapered teardrop lugs. From over the top, you can see it's nowhere near the edge of my wrist on either side. Take another look from this angle. I'm pulling it down relatively tight to simulate a strapped down watch, but realistically, I'm also compressing my wrist borders a bit with the strap, so when I start to release a little bit, you can really just see how far inboard of the edge of my wrist those lugs are. You could wear this watch on a wrist as small as 14 centimeters circumference, and you can also appreciate that it's fairly flat, being just over 11 millimeters thick with a sloped case flank. It'll slide easily underneath the dress cuff. Taking a quick look at the strap, super high quality. It is large rectangular scale alligator leather with very symmetrical scales, indicating a high-grade expensive cut. You can see it's semi-gloss with a monotone stitch. It has a sheer cut side showing the thickness of this substantial leather strap, and because Hermes is a stakeholder in the Parmigiani family of watchmaking companies, Parmigiani watches come with a buttery soft Hermes strap. The calf on the bottom feels as though it's broken in, even though you can see from the wear of the strap that it is brand new. Taking a quick look, we also have a little buckle, and because Parmigiani even makes these tiny little parts through its constituent companies, you can see how the buckle matches the curve of the teardrop lug, so the design parallelism is strong here. Very attractive. The case has a handsome and nuanced appearance. We have some pusher adjusters for adjusting the calendar. We have a Parmigiani Fleurier branded crown. We have those lovely sculpted lugs that stick out laterally from the case and have their own sculptural separate form to separate the ergonomics of the lug profiles from the shape of the canister that holds the movement in the dial. That's why the ergonomics are excellent. You can also see that there's a little recess in the case flank on each side, so the lugs can be drilled super close to the case, meaning that the strap actually pulls out through pivot points that are closer to your wrist center than the actual tips of the lugs. That's why even though this watch is 45.5 from lug to lug, it wears even narrower than that across the wrist. It also creates a very integrated, neat look, since the strap literally ducks into a recess in the case flank that allows it to move unimpeded, but also appear very close coupled and neatly paired. Taking a look, the bezel has a vertical section and then a very shallow domed portion, giving way to a dial in black that has what I would describe as a sort of vogue or wave pattern at center. We have matte black elsewhere. You can see that the center dial is stepped down. We have gold indices up at the top of the dial. We have these lovely Delta-style hands, sort of a fusion of Alpha and Dauphine. There's a lunette-style counterweight to the seconds hand, and a lunette-style indicator to the retrograde date display. We have the wonderful elements of day, date, month, Northern and Southern Hemisphere moon phase. This is an annual calendar, which means you only need to adjust it once a year during the jump from February to March. It also features a hacking or stop seconds function, so it can keep track of very long intervals of calendar time and then very short intervals because it can be set to the second. We also have rose gold indices down at the base of the dial. We'll do a quick Lume Shot. Unconventionally for a dress watch, this watch does have a legitimate amount of luminescence on the hour and minute hands. You can see it's a modular complication because the pusher adjusters for the calendar are above the center line of the crown, and both elements come together to create a movement that is Parmigiani's own. This is the Parmigiani Fleurier PF339 twin mainspring barrels for a very even torque release over the full scope of the 50-hour power reserve. It's actually 50 to 55. It beats away at 4 hertz. and it is adjusted in a high horology and chronometer standard 5 positions and pivots on 32 joules. You can see there's lovely triple finish on the rotor. We have satination, we have engine turning. You can see the vogue or wave-like pattern on the rotor matches the pattern on the dial, so the attention to detail is excellent. You can also see the rotor has anglage on its edge, satination along its profile, and then we have that guilloche in the center. All screw heads are black polished. You can see that there are linear Côte de Genève across the bridges. The beveling is quite handsome. In the meager light of my light box, you can see that the edge of the bevels all mirrored. You can also see that all of the jewel sinks have been internally mirrored and beveled. It's called a partridge eye treatment. You can also see that there is solarization on the ratchet wheel of one of the barrels. All of the wheels in the train feature satination. And then this right here is 30 meters water resistant. So this timepiece has a standard dress watch water resistance of 30 meters. Parmigiani has constituent companies that make almost every part of the watch: the dial, the hands, the case, the buckle, and the movement, including all of its parts. So when you buy from Parmigiani, you're buying not just from an independent, but from a very highly integrated manufacturer that through its many constituent companies makes every part of the watch. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.